Good afternoon. Welcome to the Bloomington Rotary Club's weekly celebration of service. I'm Steve Wickes, and I'm honored to serve as your president for the next 20 minutes. A number of you have asked me very discreetly on your way in if there will be any presidential pardons this year. And I'm afraid to tell you that there will be no presidential pardons. There will be no executive orders either. So please silence your electronic devices. And then also please stand if you're able to honor America in honor of our 250th birthday as a nation. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Sally Gaskell will deliver today's reflection.
Hey, everybody. Thank you, Steve. So, really love meeting here at the IMU. There's always so much to look at on the walls. And I love walking in from that direction because you get to see this really interesting wall. It's about the National Academies. Has anyone looked at that wall recently or lately, ever? Linda Murray, of course. And it's dawn. So, apologies for the quality of the photography here. It was taken on my cell phone and the lighting is bad, but um, there are five American academies. The oldest one is the American Academy of Arts and Sciences. It was founded in 1780, almost 250 years ago, in the midst of the American Revolution by such luminaries as John Adams, John Hancock, and other founding fathers. The Academy is a highly prestigious honorary society that elects distinguished scholars, scientists, artists, and leaders across multiple disciplines. Today, it's also an independent research center that addresses big societal problems. The Academy, this is a quote from their website, I really like this. The Academy celebrates the life of the mind, the importance of knowledge, and the belief that arts and sciences are necessary to the interest, honor, dignity, and happiness of a free, independent, and virtuous people. So, here are just a few of the members of the National Academy of Arts and Sciences from Indiana University. The first person elected was Herman B. Wells. Next, and the first woman elected from IU, Eleanor Ostrom. Who recognizes this person? Lam Barker, because this is the celebrated American soprano who broke racial barriers in the 1960s to become a leading star at the Metropolitan Opera and taught here at the Jacobs School of Music and was elected to the National Academy of Arts and Sciences in 2002, Martina Arroyo. This is Tom Matheson, the only musicologist. Here we have Jeff Palmer, a neighbor of mine in Elm Heights. He's a molecular and plant biologist. I highly recommend having a plant biologist as your neighbor because they can inspect your trees for you. And finally, our fellow Rotarian, Michael J. Wade. His plaque says evolutionary biologist and educator, elected 2008. So kudos to Mike and to all on the wall. I hope you'll all have a look at the National Academies the next time you wander down the hallway.
So Winston Schindel signed up to introduce guests today, but he's one of our longest tenured Rotarians, and he knew that for today's ceremony, we wouldn't have any guests. So, but Leslie, do we have any guests online?
No, we are all Rotarians.
All right,
Excuse
thank
me,
you.
all Rotarians.
All Rotarians. Announcements, the only thing I have to add, Monroe County History Center, Saturday noon to 3, they're having a free block party. So if Daniel, put up your hand. If you want to know anything about the free block party on Saturday, see Daniel after the meeting. Couple of birthdays to observe. Byron Bangert is here today and he has a birthday today. And then Chris MG has a birthday on the 9th. Anniversaries. John Diltz is also here today, sitting next to Byron. He has been a member of this club for 28 years today. And then Mike Wayne, who we just saw on the screen, on the 11th, will celebrate his 9th anniversary with the club. So we have lots of time for happy dollars today. Is anyone happy? Michael's getting his stuff.
I'll get my money out in a minute, but I'm happy that I got an unexpected message from my youngest grandson, and he and I are going out to dinner tonight.
I've got 5 happy dollars. Thank you, Steve. Thank you, Traci. the first time in the history of our club, and I've been here a long time, that we've had this scenario happen. Thank you for the year, and thank you for stepping up.
Yeah. Here's $3 measly. I want to celebrate one of America's most famous Olympians, Joey Chestnut. He he won his 18th championship for the most hot dogs at one time. Yay to go.
Just a little bit of Rotary history. I'm always amazed at this organization of 1,000,003 members strong, and that we change our leadership of the organization from top to bottom every single year. So that I think that says something about the quality of our membership in this international organization.
And add, it will be another peaceful transition of power.
I have 10 happy dollars because I just want to announce that we have a Jacobs School of Music voice major PhD student from South Africa living with us for the past year. And you are all invited to his PhD recital this coming Monday, the 13th, 6 o'clock at the Neil Marshall. He has no family here in the US, so he's not really expecting anyone to be there. But I have taken, and Don as well has taken on kind of personal support, trying to get as many friends of ours to come out and just support him for an hour at the Neil Marshall. I have to tell you, his voice is fabulous.
Here's $20. In honor of what we're seeing with the World Cup. We get so caught up in some of the negatives, and just seeing so many people from around the world enjoy the things that we take for granted. Costco, ranch dressing, Buc-ee's. They're having a ball, and it's been an amazing experience seeing Cape Verde. Like we were there, and they qualified, and my husband's Serbian. They did not qualify. And so I'm like, how does Cape Verde get there? And they won, like they were in the 16. So it's amazing. And so you never know. And I just think this World Cup's been fantastic for all of us as a worldwide community.
I'm very, very happy because Rotarians have showed me that they're going to show up on Thursday at 9 o'clock to do the human assembly line, and more are welcome if you want to come. Thanks so much for supporting us.
I am happy because if you do not already know, last month, I believe on June 6th, Jawed, and that is Muhammad Hussein Jawed, and Aminu Mohammadi had a baby boy. His first name is Noah. And when we were away, I got a text message from Amina saying, this is the first time we've actually had to give somebody a middle name. And she sent me texted me a copy of his birth certificate. And it said Noah David Jawed.
More. Yes, more money. No. Not more money. I just want to make a clarification. Joey Chestnut won his 18th championship. He ate 55 hot dogs.
I've got a happy $2 bill for no good reason whatsoever.
Michael, I have one. So anyway, I'm really happy because it's been a great year and I'm very optimistic for the year ahead.
Is there any online, Leslie? Or
No, they're not.
Tyler.
I don't have any cash on me, but I'll say something happy since Gus gave $2 with nothing happy to say. I'm happy and thankful for Michael, Steve, and Alon for covering last week when I very unexpectedly had to fly home to California because my grandpa passed away. And you all saved my butt with making sure last week's meeting was taken care of. So thank you. And I'm very happy to be back with my Rotary family.
And Tyler, we were thinking about you last week and we're sorry for your loss.
More? Oh. Hello, everyone. I have $5 happy because, first of all, I'm just so happy to be around all my fellow Rotarians. Being on the board here, working with the district DEI committee, meeting our global scholar for dinner over in Brown County. And I'm particularly happy about the leadership of this club. Last year, Traci, this year, Steve, next year, Traci. How can you go wrong with that? Thank you very much.
So thank you all for the generosity. Proceeds will go to Teachers Warehouse. So Tyler, can you go ahead and put up my PowerPoint? So it has been a hard year. Here is a picture of me from a year ago. I was on top of the world, filled with youthful energy, plenty of plans. And now a year later, here's a picture of me this morning. So thank you for that. It's actually been a great year. And so let's do a celebration of service. So we'll start with service projects. Here are the projects we did this year. The Rotary Toast fundraising dinner, Teachers Warehouse supply drive, Salvation Army bell ringing, Hoosier Hills Food Bank, Meals on Wheels 4 or 5 times, separate instances, the Lake Monroe Water Fund tree planting, our RILA 2025 at Bradford Woods, the Hoosiers Outrun Cancer event, Wonderlab Summer Blast Off, and FutureCast. And a couple of pictures. Here's the group again at the tree planting. Here are Dekir and Joy at the Teachers Warehouse supply drive. But yes, we donated lots of hours of service. We donated lots of dollars as well. Starting out with the Rotary Toast, and this is for all 3 clubs together, raised $19,000 at the event, and then there was an impromptu auction at the end of the event. Total proceeds, $25,000 to the Bloomington High School North Habitat for Humanity Club. The Rotary Foundation, the annual fund, and the Polio Plus Fund. Club members, we've passed $30,000 this year. Refugee support, mostly to ensure that Jawid had justice, but also help the Iraqi family that we sponsored, $13,500. Meals on Wheels, the district grant project, $6,000. Wonderlab, the Bloomington Rotary Foundation grant, $6,000. Lake Monroe Water Fund, $4,000. Teachers Warehouse, 3 or 4 checks along the way added up to $2,300. Various small charitable donations, $700, and the high school scholarships, $10,000. And other than the Rotary Toast, which is all 3 clubs, the rest are members of this club, and you're all members of the Bloomington Rotary Foundation, and then individual members of this club. And we're pushing $100,000, and that's very impressive. So well done, all of you. And here are a couple of pictures. On the left, this is from the holiday party. You see Traci with some young people from the Bloomington High School North, the Habitat for Humanity Club. And on the right, this is in January. This is a check from the Bloomington Rotary Foundation. And this is to the Wonder Lab. And this was the money that they used to do their summer blast-off event in May to try to promote more reading during the summer. And then refugee efforts. Club member Dave Myers spearheaded our efforts there to make sure that Jawid had justice, and he was rewarded with a Be More Awards here a couple of months ago. Scholarship winners. Here are the 4 scholarship winners. We saw them in May. And each of these young individuals walked away with a $2,500 check for college. So membership, I've tried at every club assembly to kind of bring you up to date on where we stand since the most recent club assembly. So we have 146 members, and you see the breakdown between individual and organizational member, and there are 16 organizations. So we had a little drop off here at the end of the year for a couple of reasons. One, we had several members move, and then we also cleaned roles. We found a couple of members who were organizational members who are not active, that they'd retired or they're no longer with their organizations. So here are the people we've lost since March 17th. And then we've added a couple since March 17th. And I'm happy to say that we've added 1 non-lead organizational member so far in July, and Traci has a couple lined up here later this month. So I think we'll get back on track. Couple of the members we've added. On the left, picture of Peyton Flynn and her sponsors, Aaron and Martha. And on the right, Ellen Stroman. And Ellen is back at the back table there. And we've lost some members that we hated to lose. So we miss Charlotte, and we'll continue to miss Charlotte. We've had educational and captivating programs. Here's a picture of Jim Capshew, who club member, who gave us a really nice talk about the history of IU. And here's a fun one from this summer, Raptor Rise Rehabilitation Center. You can see the raptor on the top right, and Forrest and Don and Melinda looking carefully toward the raptor. Happy to say that the raptor was here in the summer. We had the police dog here in the spring, and there were no events that I know of involving club members getting hurt. So I want to thank all the club members who volunteer to plan and execute our programs. I recognize Michael Shermis at the picnic for his outstanding leadership, but there are probably 30 or 40, maybe even 45 individual club members who are involved with nominating speakers, contacting speakers, making arrangements, following up on logistics. And then we have all these club members who fill roles every week: front desk, greeter, introducing guests, reflections. And we couldn't do it without you. This is your club, and you do a tremendous job supporting it. And so you can see some of the club. Here are 3 different individuals: Tim Jessen, Whitney Cordoba, Sarah Laughlin, and there's so many more. We have fun social activities. On the left are some pictures from the picnic here a couple of weeks ago. On the right, picture from the holiday party. So this is where we were a year ago, and this picture was important because I wanted to make sure that I didn't wear the same shirt today. I was not worried that Traci would wear the same outfit, but it's a concern where I'm involved. And we're going to have a repeat today, except we'll just go in the different direction. So I want to thank all of you. I mean, I didn't really know what to expect And at times during the year, various club members have come up to me and they've been unhappy about something or they wanted something changed. But the comments were always constructive and positive and supportive. And I just continue to be amazed by the members of this club, how accomplished they are, how talented they are, all the things they've done in the past and still do. It's really a great group. I want to make sure that if I've offended anyone along the way, I can sometimes stick my foot in my mouth. I'm sorry if I've done that. Certainly did not intend to. But mostly I leave here today just feeling thankful that I've had this opportunity. I mentioned when I started that anymore, I blink my eyes and a year goes by and I figured, okay, I'm signing up for a year. And it really has seemed just like blinking my eyes. And now it's time to hand over. So anyway, that's a look back, but it's time to look forward because I think our best days are ahead. So let's welcome our new president, Traci Jovanovic. Traci, come on down.
All right. So before no, I'm kidding. Wait, suck it in. Let's go. Thank you. So the funny thing is, I just realized as I saw the picture from last year that I had on my Novak Djokovic shirt because he plays in Wimbledon and he's playing again today. I'm missing it for this, and I didn't wear my shirt, so hopefully he'll win this year. And one other thing to point out, I don't know whose phone rang, but I think it was Charlotte sending a signal because that happened right when you showed her picture. And if you guys remember, inevitably her little purple purse, the phone would start ringing during one of the programs, or you could be at the Circle of Ivy event, any event you went to, Charlotte's phone would start ringing, everybody would be like looking around. So I feel like Charlotte's here with us in spirit. I just wanted to point that out. Having said that, Steve, you went over all that I think you downplayed the role that you've had this year. You've been I've only been here for 6 months of the year, but what you've led this club through with the absence of an admin, a changeover of another admin, going through as the invoicing and the treasurer. And John, you did a phenomenal job as well from getting the invoicing. We laid the foundations, but it needed somebody with your brains and capability to really get into the weeds. I can tell you, I don't do that stuff. The only weeding I do is in the garden, not in the budget. Yeah. And you did a phenomenal job. You've got us set up to be successful, and we couldn't have done it without you. On behalf of the club, here's a gift certificate to the Uptown for you and Lisa. And I know you guys don't drink much, but there's 150, so splurge a little. And not only are you an amazing member of this club, but you're such an amazing member of this community. I see you out all the time doing different things, being involved, and that's what Rotary is all about. And so you lead by example, and for that, I thank you.
Thank you.
All right. Right. And there's lots of virtual claps online. Tyler, if you could bring my PowerPoint up. So I stayed away from PowerPoints pretty much the first time around because I knew Mike Baker, who's not here today, would be on my case about Microsoft and my affiliation there. So, but I feel like Steve led the way to allow me to use Microsoft PowerPoint. So I'm going to do it. So thank you for that. Now I had to, and if we could, I have the advancer. Ooh, I'm in control. There we go. I learned quite a few things in the 6 months I was here during your tenure, Steve. One of them was to do a better job tying in with Rotary International. You did a phenomenal job of that. So I will try to make sure that I'm keeping you guys abreast of what month it is, what's important from a district level, especially as we have Alon Barker going into the DG role. And we will have a visitation from our DG. I think I'm better prepared to understand after having done 1 year. That's a blessing. I feel like I'm better prepared to understand what I should be doing versus winging it in some cases my first time around. All right, so Maternal Child Health Month, that's important to us. Now, Steve also did something very fun. He did the mystery Rotarian. I was like, well, I can't do that again. So what am I going to do? And having come back from traveling, we had the blessing of seeing Rotary signs at least 4 different locations we were at. There was a beachhead Rotary sign at New Zealand where they had showers and it had the little wheel, which was pretty cool. There was a panel in Indonesia where they had a placard in front of the building honoring, setting up. There was a playground. So I got to see these and actually see Rotary International in action. And it made me think, there's a lot of small clubs out there in places that I didn't even know Rotary was. So what I thought I would do instead of Mystery Rotarian is each week we will do a Where in the World and just kind of a little bit of a learn about what happens outside of Bloomington and our little community. So there are 200 plus countries and geographical areas, and some are very remote that I have to work with. So what's the first one? St. John's, Newfoundland, and Labrador, Canada. So you can see the location where it's located. That's very important to understand. But what's important? St. John's has 5 Rotary and Rotaract clubs. Founded in 1921, the 60-member Rotary Club of St. John's is the oldest in this Canadian province. It is just under 110,000 inhabitants. The city's Rotary clubs do not see themselves as competitors, but pool their forces to make a difference. Together, they created the Rotary Sunshine Park, a recreational area with a water pier, a leisure center, and a chalet, sounds pretty nice, that can be used for overnight stays. They network with other clubs, and it's very important because the cities are very separated. And in June, they held a conference in Moncton, New Brunswick, attended by all Rotarians from the 4 provinces. Recently, the St. John's Clubs bought a house for a local organization that aids homeless veterans, and they paid for new furniture, created a community room that will bear Rotary's name, and will provide rent subsidies for the neighbors. So that is St. John's, Newfoundland. And it gives us an idea of just different activities that happen out there. So I find it kind of interesting. And by the way, if there's a place that you would like to see highlighted, shoot me a note. I'll be happy to do so. Otherwise, I'm going to be researching and finding them. So also for announcements, I know Steve shared one of the announcements, but I wanted to remind everyone, Hoosier Hills Food Bank this week. I believe we've got the slots all filled. However, we can all go out and buy supplies and support our fellow Rotarians who are collecting the supplies. So don't think that you're done by signing up. We need the supplies as well. And then, sorry, I confused Teachers Warehouse with Hoosier Hills Food Bank. Hoosier Hills Food Bank, are we set on that? I don't know if they filled that completely. No? Okay. Yeah, I didn't see Liz. I was going to ask her. But anyway, I think we only had like 2 slots still available. There is a link on the roundabout. So take a look and let's make sure we've got that covered. And then not as exciting, but equally important, dining charges will be increasing. I know Steve mentioned last week, I believe, that the IMU sent us, not the IMU, sorry, Hank, the IU dining planners sent a notification that our costs are going up. We will have a meeting at the board where we vote in what the cost will be. It'll be somewhere between $16.25 to $16.50, somewhere in that area. I will say it's been $15.11 since I've been here. And given the increases in costs, $1 up is not too bad. Yeah, Dave.
Especially is in need of people who would sign up to work between 12 p.m. and 2 p.m.
Okay, so for those online, Hoosier Hills is not full. We need people to sign up between 12 and 2. Okay, so if we could get that would be helpful. And then, so the dining, if you're interested in providing input on the dining charges, the board meeting is always open, and it's at the Monroe County Library. So more to come on that front after the board meeting. I will let you know immediately the Tuesday after where we land on that. Meals on Wheels continues to need drivers. See Diana Hoffman or the link online. We should be good. And then the Rotary Toast, of course, try to pool your resources and get a table together. Having run it before, it's very difficult to last minute try and coordinate all the requests that come in of who wants to sit with who. It's like high school prom dating. So not that I remember that. So anyway, quick question for everyone. Is anyone here, probably not, has anyone here today met someone new in the club that they typically don't sit with? Raise your hand. Today. Okay, so Glenda, Jim, who's your new person? You hadn't met Mike before. My goodness, Mike's been in the club 9 years. Why not? And he's a fellow. He's a fellow. So there you go. Very good. I'm glad you met. Glenda, you met Whitney? You never get to sit together, so you got to sit together. And Connie? First time you've had a conversation with John. Well, you are blessed. We don't want the details. This is a PG location. Thank you. So my point in this is we get in our ruts and we sit at the table that we're comfortable at. And there is such a wealth of talent and people and interesting individuals in this club. Get out of your comfort zone, sit at a different table. I'm not looking at one table in particular, dead. But but get out, meet new people. That's one of the big reasons we join, is to get out. And I'm going to use Mark, I'm going to use you as an example. I remember when you first joined, I think I was membership chair, and you said you wanted to join Rotary because you wanted to push yourself and you wanted to meet new people. Here you are, you were secretary last year, your second year in, you're treasurer this year, third year in. Great example of leveraging the opportunity. And so I think you're a shining star of what the potential of this club can do. So all right. So co-chairs, again, Steve talked a little bit about, we have a lot of committees out there. What you will see is we're doing more of co-chairing in an effort to build the bench. That's, sorry, Aaron's not here. He said, don't be too corporate. I remember he told me that the very first time I came in, don't be too corporate. But I'm very used to build, you always got to have a bench to pull from, you know, and we were fortunate this year that I was able to step into this role, but you never know if you're, you know, when you're gonna, something may come up and somebody may not be able to fulfill. So it's very important, not only that we meet each other and meet new people, but that we're also willing to push ourselves and to take on new roles and responsibilities. So communications, Alon Barker is going to continue to chair that committee. Community service, we have Michelle Cohen, and Diana Hoffman is going to be helping her with that committee, which is a huge effort, because that is what we're based upon. DEI, Patrick will continue to run that. Fellowship, Fun, and Family, Heidi is going to continue working that one. And then we have international. I know Whitney, you and Rebecca just met. Rebecca's taking that on. Rebecca is one of our organizational members from Big Brothers and Big Sisters. And she has a vested interest. She and I believe it's her sister, I think, have a special nonprofit they do in Guatemala. Yeah, in Guatemala. For water and stuff. So she brings not only her interest, being a SPIA grad, I can say that now because Sean Mooney's no longer the dean there, so she's not going to find me for saying SPIA, O'Neill School. She's an O'Neill School grad, and she obviously works at Big Brothers Big Sisters, and she has her own nonprofit that's invested there. So I know there's really good stuff and a great foundation that you laid for her. Youth service, Leanne Ratliff is going to be working closely with Joy Harder to start taking that on and give Joy the opportunity to step away a little bit. So that's going to be fantastic. Lori and I will be working on membership. And as Steve alluded to, we've already got several members that really you brought in. Let's see, Ed Ryan, we will be inducting probably next week, I believe. I don't see, who was his sponsor? I should know. Yes, I was like, he's not here. Steve Engel brought him. So we'll be doing that next week. Peace building, David Wright, a new member, is stepping up to run that committee. And then from programs, Michael Shermis, we've gotten Peyton Flynn, and hopefully many of that's a standing ovation. I'm surprised you didn't give Happy Dollars for that. I think we're going to put it on your bill for Happy Dollar. No, I'm kidding. But it's interesting because Peyton has been amazing. She's many as you know, she's just graduated. She's going to be getting married this fall. And she agreed to take this on as long as she could start, pulling it in closer after the wedding. I was like, oh yeah. I was like, so, and she's incredibly organized. I said, that is so important working with Michael, I'll just say. Be very organized. Not that he's picky, but honestly, that is why we do so well with our programs, is because Michael is incredibly organized, and finding someone to work with him at that high expectation level. I mean this in a positive way. At the we all benefit from that. And it's intimidating, frankly, too, Michael, because you are so good at it. It's like, oh boy, the expectations are high. He's really scary. Not quite the way I would have put it, but yeah. And then RI Foundation, Katie Cernak has agreed to step in and work with Mike Baker so he can kind of transition off that. And again, Katie's like, I don't know. I've got a lot on my plate. And Michael's like, oh, it's fine. It's easy. I said, yeah, after you come off our first year of coming from 19,000 to 30,000, nothing like pressure. But Katie, again, another new member willing to step up and learn. It's phenomenal. Roundabout newsletter, probably one of the toughest jobs in here. Marilyn and Connie stepped in and is going to be helping. So they're going to co-chair, because it is tough. The roundabout, if you're not reading the roundabout and looking at it, there's a lot of work that goes into that. So let's all try to take advantage of that. It reminds us of things that we may not have remembered, such as upcoming events. Look on the left-hand side, click the links, sign up for things. And then scholarship. Jonas, you're stepping up and helping keep Jeff organized on scholarships. So phenomenal job. And we saw the benefits of that this year. So again, super excited about the committee leaders this year, super proud of all the new members who are signing up, and really appreciative because you are the heart and soul of what this club is about. So then we have the new board members. And again, you'll see a theme here, building the bench. So Hank is president-elect, and he'll get the benefit of working alongside, I don't know if that's a benefit or a curse, I'm not sure, working alongside me to learn the ropes. This year, I think I have a little bit better handle, so hopefully I can help you get on the way a little bit better than I did in prepping Steve. Steve kind of hit the ground running, but it wasn't because of me, it's because he's really good. And then Mark, of course, coming in as the treasurer's, already starting to get things working really well. From the invoicing. Everybody received their invoice via email? We're still working through some kinks. I'll just say the online doesn't work yet. We're working through that. But again, it's moving forward, moving ahead in time. And Mark has done a lot of work with John Zodi on that. You guys, it's exciting. It's exciting to see us moving into the 20th century. So Liz Irwin has stepped up to be secretary. Lori Garrity, as I mentioned earlier, will be the membership member. And then, of course, our programs chairs are members of the board, and communications chair is a member of the board. And then Carol Ann has agreed to be, again, another new member. She's agreed to be our member at large. Heidi Schultz is on, Katie Cernak, Leslie Kutzenka has agreed. Again, another new member who often hosts our Zoom calls. Jim Sims brings the voice of wisdom to us and will do a great job keeping me on Robert's rules, which I'm not a real big fan of. But you do a good job keeping me honest on that. And then Lynn Schwartzberg will continue, and Jonas is stepping up. So again, a lot of new names and faces. Super excited to see what that brings for this year. So about goals, and these I put together probably a month ago, so it's not exactly accurate, as you can tell. Memberships. So what our goal I set for this year is 135 members. I want to increase it by 8. I think we can do that. I actually am a salesperson at heart, so that means I tend to underpromise, overdeliver. So by putting 8 here means that I expect 15. Just saying. And then one of the initiatives, these are all goals that the district level asks us to do. So this is why we will bring up a strategic plan, why we will talk about bylaws, et cetera, which Steve did last week. You will see these come up again because these are part of the goals that we have as a club to keep things humming along, so to speak. So looking to really just continue the strategic plan. We're going to go through and do a little bit of a cleanup because some of the things are applicable, some are not. Service participation, keeping that flat with last year at 70, because we've dropped off a few members, but again, I expect to see us blow that away. And there's a tool, which we'll talk about here in a minute, for us to use to help on that front. Annual fund for Rotary International. Again, this was one of the reasons we got the invoicing in place to begin with, is we wanted to make sure that everybody knew who was participating in every Rotarian every year, because we really didn't know. The invoice allows you to track that, and that's where the 80/20 comes in. You can pay $20 each quarter into those, and it helps us get to that 30,000 level. You don't have to pay $1,000 each year or whatever you want. It's just participation. The 80, well, every year Rotarian, every year but online, you can do it for both. They want us to pay. They want to have participation from everyone in the club. It does not need to be at the $1,000 level. They would like to have, whether it's $25, $40 a quarter, that's up to you. But the invoice shows what you're contributing to both Bloomington Rotary Foundation as well as Rotary International. Okay. And then you have the Polio Fund Plus contribution. This, I think I'm the one that's doing this. So it's a goal out there. It's just, do you designate what you give to the Rotary International to go towards polio? And me personally, given the US aid that was pulled back over the last, 2 years, it's really the Gates Foundation and Rotary that are driving this. And it's very important that we make sure this doesn't resurface. So that's kind of near and dear to me. That's why I contribute to that specifically. That doesn't mean it's what you have to do. That's just something I do, but it's a goal that's out there for Rotary All Up. Social activities, I want to keep us at 4. I'd like to see us do 5, but I didn't want to put the pressure on Heidi since she's doing it on her own. But I hope we do 5, but I wanted to put 4 so she could feel, like she's got a chance since it's just one person running that on our behalf. Service projects, I put 8. I don't know why it says a plus minus a 7. That's not right. But I want to see us do service projects that are the bigger deals. So more to come on that front. We did one. I think that was a mistake. Now I understand. Yeah, it was a type. Well, no, the systems don't talk. DAC and my Rotary org don't talk. And so that was the problem there. So not only do we have invoicing issues here in our club, we also have international issues where some of the systems don't necessarily communicate. And then Rotaract Club, stay with the one that we have, which is phenomenal. Update website. This is a laydown because Alon's already all over that on a regular basis with regards to social media, website, etc. And then leadership development program. I'd like to see us have 4 people attend that. And then club bylaws, I feel like we just did that, so we don't need to do that again. And then conference attendance, I'd like to have at least 5 members. I feel like every time conference rolls around, we're pulling teeth to get members to attend. It'll be exciting this year because Alon will be taking over next year. The follow, so they don't do any type of service at the conference. Okay, so we will again be asking people to attend. It would be wonderful if you can make it. And then the RILA participation, we have 2 as a goal. I think we've been pretty consistent with that. And then of course, media stories and training participation. So, and that's about, your eyes can hopefully unglaze after that. But it's important that everybody know what the goals are. And if you have questions, you could certainly ask about it. So participation in stepping into 2027, I wanted to just specifically thank everyone who helped through the administration this past year. We're so excited, Jill, to have you here on board. And for those of you who have not met Jill Joliffe, please introduce yourself, take the time. She's learning, give her grace as she's learning, as you do with all of us. And then committee participation. So we went through the committee chairs. Need to have people participating, not just on the committees themselves, but also in the weekly meetings that we have, the sign-up sheets. It's the same people who are doing it all the time. I don't know if anybody noticed that. I just want to say, but which I'm very thankful for the people who've been doing it, but there are a lot of people in the room who are not signing up, and we need the help. Honestly, I know Steve had to do a lot of chasing besides the admin role. And I think part of it has to do with the round, because we didn't have an admin consistently along. We as a club are very used to a push from Natalie of an email to say, hey, I need this. And we're trying to be more automated. So I need those in the room who are not as comfortable being automated. Again, not looking at you, Dad. But you got to use the links. Help us help you. Okay. We're trying to make it easier for everyone. And sometimes it's, you know, and I'm going to use you again, Mark, pushing yourselves, and because you're pushing yourself. We all have to push ourselves to embrace change, and it's uncomfortable, but it will help everyone if we try and use the links, if we don't need the push emails, etc. So I would ask that we all try to do a better job of that. And on that note, I wanted, Michael, if you wouldn't mind, I want to share, who has a phone in here? Raise your hand if you have a phone on you. Okay, get your phones out. Come on up here, because you're gonna have to show what I'm doing here. I want you to look, there's an app right here. Oops, let's see. There's an app called Ignite. See it? I heard that, oh God. Sally goes, oh God. How do we do better, Sally? We embrace change. And Dad, I will tutor you on this at home later. But the Ignite app here, it's right here. If you go to your app store, look up Ignite, load it on your phone. Now, why do you want to do this? Because when you want to, this is a screen that comes up. When you want to call someone that's in Rotary, today we look up their number if we don't have it in DAC, which is a pain. All you have to do is go to, oops, sorry, I hit the wrong one. Go to the Find Members. And oh, look at those wonderful pictures of people. Wow. If you don't have a picture loaded in here, you can load your picture. That helps you get the names of people. Are you calling me, Alon? You're so tricky. Hank, I'm going to pull you up. So this is what you see. I could do call me, and I can call the mobile, and it's going to call. Okay. You could text if you want to email. It just, now, there are many of you in here who do not have emails or phone numbers in your DAC database. So this is a good way for you to find out if you have that information in there. Okay. So this is a tool that allows you to interface much easier. Okay. Now it takes, hold on. So the other things you can do are Ignite Rotary. It's a little flame. See the flame here? Ignite Rotary. I think you do the members DB. Members DB. Sorry, it's been a while since I went in and did it. But those are good questions, because this is what we're all going to Ignite. Okay, probably. I have to, sorry, I have to look it up to see, because I didn't go in a while. It was a while ago.
Tracy, it's Ignite by Member Minder Pro.
Okay, thank you. Is that Leslie?
Yes, it is.
The reddish orange flame. So then you can see today I had to pay, I wanted to pay my bill. So I looked up to see what is my balance. I was able to write the check for the balance. And once we get the credit card connection in, you can just go in and pay. So there are a lot of things on this app that we're going to start playing with a little more. My service hours. To be fair, I've got to go in and train on it as well. So more to come. I just want us to get the app loaded on your phone, and just, if all you do is find members and check your own information, and if there's something wrong, we can update it, then we're already ahead of the game. Okay. But there's a lot of applications. That's good. Thank you. there are a lot of application. There is a lot of application we can do with this device that again helps us move forward and automate, especially when we think about service hours, tracking service hours. We've had a lot of debate as a club about, do we just do service hours within Rotary? What about all the service hours we do outside of Rotary? And it becomes, how do you track it? There is capability on here that puts it on the person to do the tracking versus the service club, Michelle Cohen and team to have to do, right? So that starts making it easier. So more to come on that front. And then lastly, I wanted to end this piece with kind of the goals for Matt Milley, who's our district governor. They pretty much align, no surprise, and it's pretty much in line with what our goals always are. It's really to add and grow our clubs, right? To increase our giving and to tell our story, make sure people know what we do and why we do what we do. So increasing membership, grow the club, increase our giving, which I think this club has done an amazing job of, and make sure that we're on brand. People understand what is it we do and why do we do it. A little note on that, when we were on the cruise for 5 months, there were about 40 Rotary members that met every week on the cruise, and it was just interesting, people from different clubs. And so you got different perspectives. You never know who's going to be out there. All right, with that, Tyler, you can send it back. I forgot to bring my agenda. Hold on. So with that, I wanted to open up any questions out there. It was so exciting. Okay. The district governor is coming in October. I'll have to look on Michael's program. It's on I want to say the 12th, but I think I just made that up. It's definitely October. I'll get back to you with the specific date on that. Dave.
So what would you like to do differently from your first term?
What would I like to do differently from the first term? I'd like to get us more automated. To me, I think in the first term, we started with the changing to the invoice system, which God bless Natalie and Claire. They really went through the barrel on that, which laid the foundation for John and Mark to come in. But now it's how do we get it to the next steps? And that's just invoicing as one piece. But how do we make it easier? And I know it doesn't sound easy for those that are, tech fear. It actually does make it easier as you move. And candidly, I've got to learn the applications as well so that we can make it easier so that everyone can participate in that. So what does that mean? It means that we will probably do buddy systems where we will connect tech savvy with not as tech savvy people so that people get comfortable. It's not going to be anything ominous, and we'll do it as we can. I'm not going to, push us like the Roadrunner. We may go like the turtle, and that's okay. But we do need to get automated. I think if anything, we learned how much we lean on Natalie. We learned that this year, Steve, most of all, and you did a phenomenal job. But I'd like to try to alleviate that so that as we grow as a club, it's easier to grow efficiently. Does that make sense? Is everybody excited about that? I know the answer to that. Yeah, they're like, oh yeah, I'm very excited. What else? Any other questions? Michael's actually ready. Yeah, Whitney, hold on. He's actually in.
So this question is more about the app that you just showed.
The app?
What do we do if it doesn't recognize our username? Who do we reach out to?
Alon can help with that.
Sounds good.
Thank you, Alon. So this is part of finding some of the disconnects in our DAC database, which is going to be helpful longer term. Yeah, because there's a lot of missing information in there. So that's a great question. Thank you for asking that. I will say another key learning for me coming in this time. I remember when we had the district governor visit last time, Jim, Bright said, "Oh, are you having a board meeting and where are you guys meeting beforehand?" I'm like, "What are you talking about?" He goes, "Oh yeah, we always have a board meeting so that the district governor can meet with the board and chat and get to." Yeah, I missed that one. I didn't know, because I'd been a member for a year and you don't know what you don't know. So Hank, I promise to make sure you know that at least. So that's one of the upgrades, I would say. Any more questions? Yep, Tina.
Thanks for the reminder. I went to download Ignite and I realized I already had it, but I forgot I had it. And I went to it and I thought, oh my gosh, this has a lot of information. So some of us might need reminders.
That's
Yeah.
okay.
Yeah.
That's, you know what, you actually had it on. You get stars for that. So that's great. All right. From acknowledgements, no more questions, right? Anyone online? Sorry, Leslie.
No questions online.
I know Raj is sitting up there saying, "Oh, I'm remote, so I'm not going to have to do that darn Ignite thing, aren't you, Raj?" All right. Steve, in honor of your program today, it's time to draw for the new charity of the quarter. And $100 will be going towards that charity of the quarter that you draw. Uh-huh. And for this momentous occasion, we have a very fancy bag, which I gave him that I created.
CJAM, Community Justice and Mediation Center.
Very nice. CJAM. All right. Very appropriate. That's awesome. Thank you. Today, I'd like to thank our greeter, Tina Swanson. Thank you. Dad, great job on the introductions. Steve, thank you for the speaker introduction. And Leslie, thank you for hosting on Zoom. Sally, what a wonderful reflection. You're right. We walk by things and I didn't know that about the fellows, and what a great thing to hear, Mike, that you're one of the fellows. On that note, I would also encourage people to go up to the South Lounge and take a look at the Ryan White statue that's up there. It's phenomenal. August 4th. Oh, were you? That is awesome. So Melanie Cooper Pennington is going to be coming to speak August 4th. She's amazing, by the way. So that's going to be way full. I suspect. Glinda, thank you and Judy, thank you for pinch hitting on the reporting. Much appreciated. Michael, as always, camera and mic operator. By the way, on that note, because Michael, it's either Michael or I and Hank that always does that. We're going to do some buddy systems, get some people to help next meeting to walk along with Michael to see how it's done so that we have other people signing up for it. So be ready. He's just going to randomly pick who gets to share the joy. Alon, thank you for the photography. Again, that's another one where we can get other people to help in because you do so much. And Jill for the front desk and assistant, we're so happy to have you here. So thank you. And Tyler, we're so glad that you are back. And our next meeting will be in the solarium, right? The solarium on July 14th. Remember, there's handicap parking across the street. It's much closer, much easier. You just let them know at the gate that you're going to handicap parking for the solarium. By the gate, I mean that little control station, right? So take advantage of that, please. Julie Heath will be our special guest discussing IU innovating. And then with that, Tyler, if you would put up the slide for the four-way test, and if you're able, please stand. The things we think, say, or do. First, is it the truth? Second, is it fair to all concerned? Third, will it build goodwill and better friendships? Fourth, will it be beneficial to all concerned? And fifth, is it fun? Oh, I ran. Oh, thanks. I ran way over. I'll take care of that. I ran way over.